This Mobile Geeks video is powered by ASUS.
Hey, I'm rolling with Mobile Geeks right here at the OnePlus 2 event in Berlin. It's one of their pop-up events that tours the world today, basically, and we're just going to take a very quick comparison look at the OnePlus One on the left here and the new OnePlus 2 on the right. As you can see from the front, they're basically the same size. I mean, yeah, I think like measurements should be pretty much the same. Also, in width, there is pretty much no difference between these two devices, as you can see. I mean, yeah, it might be a half millimeter that the OnePlus 2 is smaller than the old model. They both have 5.5-inch screens. Brightness seems pretty much the same. Maybe it's even the same screen, but I don't think it is because the new one looks a bit brighter and has a bit better color reproduction. So colors are a bit more popping on the OnePlus 2 on the right here than they are on the left on the old model. Under the hood, we're talking about the Snapdragon 801 on the OnePlus One, as we all know. That runs at 2.5 gigahertz, and we have the new Snapdragon 810 in the OnePlus 2 that clocks in at 1.8 gigahertz only, but it has 8 cores, so it should definitely be able to handle multitasking a bit better. The OnePlus One had 3 gigs of RAM. The OnePlus 2 also has 3 gigs of RAM, but only if you get the 16 gig model. This right here is actually a 64 gigabyte model, so it has the full 4 gigabytes of RAM on this device right here. Another difference is down here, you get capacitive touch buttons on both devices, but over here on the right with the OnePlus 2, we have the integrated fingerprint reader. That is not really a button, so it's only a capacitive button and also a fingerprint reader, and that is pretty much it. The buttons over here on the left are right now not lit, but they're still there. On the right one, you also get 2 buttons, but you can switch them around and put any function you want on these buttons right there. We have 5 megapixel cameras on the front of both devices, but it's moved over to the right on the OnePlus 2, and it's on the other side on the OnePlus One, as you can see. Also, looking at the panels, I think the OnePlus 2 has gotten a little, like the bezels have gotten a little smaller, but it's kind of hard to tell actually right now. So it kind of looks like it's gotten a little smaller right here. Going over to the right, and let's take a quick tour around the devices. You'll see they kind of share the same design, so that OnePlus is definitely sticking to their design language there, but we get a full metal frame on the OnePlus 2. The old model still is fully made out of plastic, and they've also switched around the buttons. So you get the power button down here on both devices. It feels a bit wobbly on both of them, but on the OnePlus 2 you also have the volume rocker up here on the right side, whereas on the OnePlus One it was on the left right here. Going further around, you'll see that the headset jack has also moved, so it's on the left side now on the new model as opposed to the right side on the older version. Going down to the bottom, it's basically the same setup, so you get a speaker on the right, there's a mic behind the other grill, and the main difference is that the OnePlus 2 now has a USB Type-C connector down here that is not really USB Type, it's not a USB 3.1 connector, it's still a USB 2.0 port, but it now uses the new Type-C connector, which is fully reversible, whereas the old one still has a micro USB 2.0 port. Another difference is on the left right here, so you get this switch, and the switch is actually for notifications, so you can switch between letting all notifications pass through, or in this case it says all notifications. If I move up one step, you will get to the point where it says only most important information coming through, and no notifications coming through at all if you move all the way to the top. Let's move over to the back. They still have a 13 megapixel camera, but as you can see, they have definitely moved the camera way further down, and it's also got a bigger lens system, which is, I mean, if you put these next to each other, you'll see that the lens is much bigger, so it does have a better aperture. It's still the same dual LED flash, but now you get a laser autofocus system on the new OnePlus 2 and also bigger pixels on the sensor of the 13 megapixel camera. So camera wise, it should definitely work out a bit better than the old model. Looking at this sandstone cover right here, this kind of feels worn off, but this is actually a device a colleague of mine is using. So it kind of feels a bit smoother. Overall, the look is pretty much exactly the same, as you can see. So they're still using the same materials. There's still now different covers, as opposed to before where you would only get the white version and the black version plus those bamboo change covers. Now OnePlus is offering a bunch of different covers. So you get kind of a mahogany look, you get a bamboo look, there is even a carbon look, and also this sandstone design right here. Both are running Oxygen OS, depending on where you are in the world. They're running different Android add-ons. In this case, we have Oxygen 2.0 on the OnePlus 2. Feature-wise, there are a bunch of small differences. On the OnePlus 2, you can set accent colors, but also another interesting feature is that you can change the settings for all the apps. So you can tell, for example, Facebook that it isn't allowed to use your location, or that you won't allow it to read your contacts and all that other stuff. So you can definitely configure that the way you want. So this has just been a very quick tour around the OnePlus One and the OnePlus 2, comparing these two devices. And I was Roland with Mobile Geeks. If you like what we do on our channel, give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. And don't forget to tell us in the comments if you think that it's worth getting the OnePlus 2 over the OnePlus One. Thanks.